There is no player that should be more happy that Caitlin Clark exists than Paige Bueckers. Like, Paige Bueckers has basically played drunk since the All-Star break. Like, I don't think people quite get this. Paige Bueckers has been potentially the third best player on her own team post All-Star break. And she has somehow gone up in the MVP voting. Because nobody cares. Nobody cares. This isn't even a knock on Paige Bueckers. Nobody cares. Like, if a player chokes a game in the woods and no one's there to see it, do they really choke? Like, that's the real question. If you guys don't know, like, the Minnesota Lynx just threw away a game against a team trying to lose. Like, the LA Sparks are trying to lose. They blew a double-digit halftime lead against a team who, I repeat, are trying to lose. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. At all. The Dallas Wings blew a 20-point lead, and not in the second quarter, with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. They were up 11 points with 3 minutes to go in the game, or 4 minutes to go in the game, and lost. And 2 games before that, were up 6 points with 45 seconds to go, and lost. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. That is the problem. Is that Caitlin Clark, like, nobody should be more happy. And it's the same with Sabrina. Sabrina stunk it up for most of the season. And nobody cares. You have that dumbass Emmanuel Acho. And it's so funny, like, I've seen people being like, I've actually seen, I can't find a tweet. So it was someone in the media said there's a reason why we don't, why Caitlin Clark's not at the level of Paige Bueckers or Olivia Miles. Do you know who missed 2 free throws to win a game? When you were up 3. Do you know who missed 2 free throws up 3 in a game? Paige Bueckers against Indiana. Olivia Miles again. Her team just choked a game against a team that are trying to lose. Paige Bueckers has been drunk since the All-Star break. But no one cares. Nobody cares. Caitlin Clark, it is literally judged by these players. I've said it for a while. These players are not seen as players. They are seen as obstacles to Caitlin. They are seen as, they're better than Caitlin. These people don't watch any of their games. They literally don't watch their games. And that's not me saying that I don't have Olivia Miles above Caitlin Clark in the MVP race at this stage. I think it's damn close. I have Kelsey Mitchell above Caitlin Clark in the MVP race. I think it's a very, very tight one. But I think Paige is a tier below them. Nobody gives a flying fuck, and I don't mean random people on Twitter. I mean the actual media. I need to find this tweet. Someone hired by one of the big media firms said this is why this is why Caitlin Clark is not at the level of Olivia Miles or Paige Bueckers. Caitlin Clark had 10 fourth quarter points. She hit back-to-back go-ahead threes. She hit 3 in the last 3 minutes of the game. She hit 3 go-ahead shots. Yes, she choked. But Paige wouldn't have taken the shots. They would have, if you replace Caitlin Clark for Paige Bueckers, they lose that game by 10. No one's talking about her being unclutch because they lose the game by 10 points. Like, it is what it is. Olivia Miles, I mean, Olivia Miles definitely doesn't do what Caitlin Clark does at the end of the game. She takes A'ja Wilson on and worst case scenario gets swatted by A'ja Wilson. Olivia Miles definitely doesn't do what Caitlin Clark does at the end of the game. I'll give Olivia Miles credit for that. But nobody cares, man. It is one of these things where it's like the Alyssa Thomas situation where she basically said, if I elbow a player, if I punch a player in the neck and nobody sees it, that I really punch a player in the neck. It's like, if a player chokes and nobody's there to see, did they really choke? That's the real question about these other players. That is the real question. Like, why? Someone said I hate Angel. I never mentioned Angel Reese. Unironically, Angel Reese is incredibly clutch. Like, Angel Reese has been incredibly clutch for her entire career. Even in Chicago, she's been incredibly clutch. Don't get that twisted. Whatever you want to say about Angel Reese, her lowlights look horrendous, but she's probably making an all-W team, and she's been incredibly clutch. I don't love what Angel Reese, I don't love Angel Reese every 2 seconds trying to play victim for random things. One day it's, I grew up playing with Barbies, this is an honor. And the next day it's, I never actually played with dolls because they didn't look like me. I don't love that, but I'm big fan of Angel Reese, the basketball player. Always have been. But, let's be real. Other players are allowed to have meltdowns. Other players are allowed to choke game after game after game after game after game. No one cares. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Chokes only matter if it's Caitlin. Blowing a game only matters if it's Caitlin. Making a bad defensive read only matters when it's Caitlin. It's as simple as that. Because this is 80% of WNBA fans. 80% of fans watching WNBA fans, and it's shown by the amount of people that watch Fever games, are either people that only watch Caitlin Clark or only watch to shit on Caitlin Clark. You can't try to tell me that that's not the truth. Because I genuinely think if you asked most people, I'm not directly covering the WNBA, most people in the general media that are covering the WNBA that are shitting on Caitlin Clark right now and hyping up Paige Bueckers, to name 3 players on Paige Bueckers' teams. And they're going to get AZ, they're going to get Arike, and they probably won't even know what Arike's surname is, but they'll know Arike, and that's it. That's all they're getting. I can guarantee you that. And I'm not talking about we all know the non-basketball people, the people that just don't like to talk basketball. And we know the people that, we know the basketball people that have a basketball bias against Caitlin, and that's fine. It's annoying, but that's fine. The UConn Mafia, because Caitlin doesn't play the game like Gina Oriema wants people to play the game, and Gina Oriema is gospel and all that shit, and if you don't do it to UConn, well, you're doing it wrong. As annoying as that is, I don't think there's malice there on a personal level. But and I'm not saying that they don't know the players. I'll never question whether a swing cash knows ball. It just can be a little bit annoying. But at the end of the day, if we're out here having discussions on choking, which we should be, by the way, because Caitlin Clark choked. Caitlin Clark choked. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. We have been watching 2 of the 3 best guards choke games away. We've watched some choke games. It is what it is. We have watched some choke game. We have watched everyone choke games away. But yeah, it is what it is. Paige, you should be delighted. You should absolutely be delighted. Guys like Venom and KDV cause a lot of hate for Caitlin. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I don't watch either of them. I don't know anything. There's some weird takes with them, Caitlin Clark being robbed for player of the month despite not playing for the first week of the month, and then playing on averaging 12 points per game on a massive minutes restriction for the second week of the month. I don't get that, but it is what it is, I guess.